Top 25 Cybersecurity Analyst Interview Questions and Answers. In the rapidly evolving landscape of cybersecurity, preparing for an analyst interview requires a solid understanding of key concepts and skills. This video presents the top 25 interview questions commonly asked in this field, along with insightful answers. Whether you're a seasoned professional or a newcomer, knowing what to expect can enhance your confidence. We will guide you through essential topics, helping you to articulate your knowledge and experiences effectively during the interview process. 1. What are the key differences between symmetric and asymmetric encryption? Symmetric encryption uses a single key for both encryption and decryption, making it faster and suitable for large data volumes. However, the challenge lies in securely sharing the key between parties. In contrast, asymmetric encryption employs a pair of keys, a public key for encryption and a private key for decryption. This enhances security since the private key never leaves the owner's control. Asymmetric encryption is slower but ideal for secure communications, such as digital signatures and key exchange, where secure key distribution is essential. Each method has its use case, balancing speed and security. 2. Can you explain how a firewall works and the different types, for example, stateful versus stateless? A firewall acts as a barrier between trusted and untrusted networks, controlling incoming and outgoing traffic based on predetermined security rules. It inspects data packets and determines whether to allow or block them based on criteria like source, destination IP addresses, and ports. There are two main types of firewalls, stateful and stateless. A stateful firewall tracks the state of active connections and makes decisions based on the context of the traffic, allowing for more intelligent filtering. In contrast, a stateless firewall treats each packet in isolation without considering the state of the connection, relying solely on predefined rules. 3. What is the MITRE ATT&CK framework, and how do you use it in threat analysis? The MITRE ATT&CK framework is a globally recognized knowledge base of adversary tactics and techniques based on real-world observations. It categorizes the actions that attackers take during different phases of an attack lifecycle, from initial access through execution, persistence, and exfiltration. In threat analysis, organizations utilize this framework to assess their security posture, map detected incidents to specific tactics and techniques, and improve detection capabilities. By understanding how threat actors operate, teams can prioritize defenses, enhance incident response strategies, and conduct more effective threat hunting activities. 4. How would you detect and respond to a phishing attack? Detecting a phishing attack involves monitoring email communications for suspicious elements, such as unfamiliar sender addresses, misspellings, or unusual attachments. Implementing email filtering solutions can help block malicious emails before they reach users. User education is crucial. Training employees on how to recognize phishing attempts and encouraging them to report suspicious emails can significantly reduce risks. In response to an attack, quickly isolate affected systems, change compromised passwords, and notify individuals impacted. Conduct a thorough investigation to understand the attack's scope and implement additional security measures to prevent future occurrences. 5. What are the most common OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities, and how would you mitigate them? The OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities include injection, broken authentication, sensitive data exposure, XML external entities, XXE, broken access control, security misconfiguration, cross-site scripting, XSS, insecure deserialization, using components with known vulnerabilities, and insufficient logging and monitoring. Mitigation strategies involve input validation, employing strong authentication mechanisms, encrypting sensitive data, configuring servers securely, implementing proper access controls, and utilizing web application firewalls. Regular security assessments and keeping software up to date are crucial in combating these vulnerabilities effectively. 6. Explain the difference between IDS, intrusion detection system, and IPS, intrusion prevention system. An intrusion detection system, IDS, monitors network traffic for suspicious activity and alerts administrators when such activity is detected. It operates in a passive mode, meaning it does not take action to block or prevent attacks. It only identifies potential threats. In contrast, an intrusion prevention system, IPS, not only detects threats but actively takes steps to prevent them. An IPS can block malicious traffic in real time, stopping attacks before they reach their target. Both systems are crucial for a comprehensive security strategy, but they serve different roles in threat management. 7. How does DNSSEC improve security, and why is it important? DNSSEC, Domain Name System Security Extensions, enhances the security of DNS by adding a layer of authentication to DNS responses. It prevents attacks such as cache poisoning and man-in-the-middle attacks by digitally signing DNS data. This ensures that users reach legitimate websites and that they receive accurate information. DNSSEC validates the integrity and authenticity of DNS records, reducing the risk of domain hijacking or redirection. Implementing DNSSEC is essential for organizations that rely on DNS for web services, as it protects their online presence and user trust. 8. What steps would you take to secure a cloud environment, AWS, Azure, GCP? To secure a cloud environment, implement a robust identity and access management, IAM, policy, ensuring least privilege access for users and services. Regularly review and rotate credentials, and enable multi-factor authentication, MFA, for critical accounts. Utilize encryption for data at rest and in transit. Implement network security measures, such as virtual private cloud, VPC, configurations, security groups, and firewalls. Conduct regular security assessments and vulnerability scans. Monitor logs for suspicious activities and establish incident response plans. Ensure compliance with relevant regulations and standards. 9. How do you analyze logs for signs of a malware infection? Analyzing logs for signs of a malware infection involves several key steps. First, identify relevant log sources, such as system logs, application logs, and security logs. Look for unusual patterns, such as unexpected login attempts, unusual network activity, or spikes in CPU usage. Pay attention to specific indicators, like the execution of unrecognized processes or attempts to access restricted files. Utilize log analysis tools to automate detection and correlate findings with threat intelligence data. Regularly review and monitor logs to establish a baseline for normal behavior, enabling quicker identification of anomalies. 10. What is SIEM, and how does it help in cybersecurity monitoring? SIEM, or Security Information and Event Management, is a solution that aggregates and analyzes security data from across an organization's IT infrastructure. It collects logs and events from various sources, such as firewalls, servers, and applications, allowing for real-time monitoring and threat detection. By correlating data, SIEM identifies suspicious activities that may indicate security incidents. Alerts generated by SIEM systems enable security teams to respond quickly, investigate potential breaches, and maintain compliance with regulatory requirements. This proactive approach enhances an organization's security posture significantly. 11. Walk me through your process for incident response from detection to remediation. Incident response begins with detection, which involves monitoring systems for anomalies or alerts. Once a potential incident is identified, the response team is activated. The first step is containment, isolating affected systems to prevent further damage. Next, the team investigates the incident, gathering evidence and determining the scope and impact. After analysis, remediation efforts are initiated, such as removing malicious files and patching vulnerabilities. Finally, recovery involves restoring systems to normal operation, followed by a post-incident review to improve future response efforts and update incident response plans as needed. 12. How would you handle a ransomware attack on a corporate network? In the event of a ransomware attack, immediate isolation of the affected systems is crucial to prevent further spread. Notify the incident response team and management while ensuring communication lines remain open. Assess the scope of the infection and identify critical data impacted. Engage with cybersecurity experts to evaluate options, including restoring from backups or negotiating with attackers, if necessary. Maintain detailed logs of all actions taken during the incident. After remediation, conduct a thorough review of security policies and implement additional training for employees to prevent future occurrences. 13. What are some indicators of compromise, IOCs, you look for during an investigation? Indicators of compromise, IOCs, are critical in detecting potential breaches. Key IOCs include unusual outbound network traffic, which may signify data exfiltration, and the presence of unfamiliar user accounts or unauthorized access attempts. Additionally, abnormal file changes, such as unexpected modifications or deletions, can indicate malicious activity. Monitoring for known malware hashes and unusual registry changes can also help identify threats. Lastly, signs of suspicious processes running on endpoints should trigger further investigation, as they may indicate malware execution or system compromise. 14. How do you perform vulnerability scanning, and what tools do you use? To perform vulnerability scanning, I begin by defining the scope, identifying the assets that need assessment. Next, I select appropriate scanning tools like Nessus, OpenVAS, or Qualys based on the environment. After configuring the scan parameters, I initiate the scan, which checks for known vulnerabilities in systems, applications, and network devices. Once the scan completes, I analyze the results, prioritizing vulnerabilities based on their severity and potential impact. Finally, I collaborate with relevant teams to remediate the identified issues and perform follow-up scans to ensure vulnerabilities have been addressed effectively. 15. Can you explain penetration testing and its importance in cybersecurity? Penetration testing simulates cyber attacks against a system, network, or application to identify vulnerabilities that malicious actors could exploit. This proactive approach helps organizations understand their security posture by revealing weaknesses before they can be exploited. It involves planning, reconnaissance, scanning, exploitation, and reporting. By regularly conducting penetration tests, organizations can enhance security measures, comply with regulations, and build a culture of security awareness. This process not only protects sensitive data but also fosters trust among clients and stakeholders. 16. What is the importance of NIST Cybersecurity Framework, and how have you applied it? The NIST Cybersecurity Framework, CSF, provides a structured approach for organizations to manage and reduce cybersecurity risk. It consists of 5 core functions: identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. Applying the framework involves assessing current security practices, identifying gaps, and implementing appropriate controls. For instance, I have used the CSF to develop a comprehensive security strategy for a financial institution, ensuring compliance with regulatory requirements while enhancing their incident response capabilities and improving risk management processes. This approach fosters a culture of continuous improvement in cybersecurity practices. 17. How do you ensure compliance with GDPR or HIPAA in security operations? Ensuring compliance with GDPR or HIPAA involves several key steps. Implementing robust access controls helps limit data exposure to authorized personnel only. Regular training sessions for employees about data protection and privacy regulations are crucial. Additionally, employing encryption for sensitive data at rest and in transit adds another layer of security. Regular audits and assessments should be conducted to identify any gaps in compliance and to ensure that all policies are up to date with current regulations. 18. What are the key components of a strong security policy for an organization? A strong security policy should encompass several key components. First, it must define the scope, outlining what assets are protected and who is responsible. Second, it should include clear roles and responsibilities for employees, management, and IT staff. Third, the policy should address risk assessment procedures, detailing how risks will be identified and managed. Additionally, it should outline acceptable use policies for technology and data, along with incident response protocols. Regular training and awareness programs are essential to ensure staff understands and adheres to the policy, helping to create a security-conscious culture. 19. How would you conduct a risk assessment for a new system deployment? Conducting a risk assessment for a new system deployment involves several key steps. First, identify assets and their value to the organization. Then, analyze potential threats and vulnerabilities specific to the system. Assess the likelihood and impact of each risk, prioritizing them based on severity. Engage stakeholders to gather insights and ensure comprehensive coverage. Next, develop mitigation strategies for high-priority risks, which may include implementing security controls or contingency plans. Finally, document findings and ensure ongoing monitoring and review as the system evolves. 20. Describe a time when you identified a security threat that others missed. How did you handle it? In a previous role, I noticed unusual outbound traffic patterns from a server that others overlooked. I conducted a deep analysis of the network logs and discovered an unauthorized data exfiltration attempt. I promptly escalated the issue to my team, initiating an incident response protocol. We isolated the affected server, conducted a forensic investigation, and identified a compromised user account. After remediation, I implemented stricter monitoring rules and user training to prevent similar incidents. This proactive approach not only mitigated the threat but also enhanced our security posture. 21. How do you stay updated on the latest cybersecurity threats and trends? Staying updated on the latest cybersecurity threats and trends requires a multifaceted approach. Regularly reading industry publications, blogs, and research papers helps in understanding emerging threats. Participating in webinars and attending conferences allows for direct engagement with experts and peers. Joining professional organizations and forums provides insights and shared experiences from other cybersecurity professionals. Subscribing to threat intelligence feeds and following relevant social media accounts can also keep you informed about real-time threats and vulnerabilities. Continuous learning through courses and certifications is essential for staying current in this rapidly evolving field. 22. Have you ever had to explain a technical security issue to a non-technical executive? How did you approach it? When explaining a technical security issue to a non-technical executive, clarity and simplicity are key. I start by identifying the main points and avoiding jargon. Using analogies can help bridge the knowledge gap. For example, I might compare a firewall to a security guard who decides who can enter a building. I focus on the business impact rather than technical details, addressing how the issue could affect operations or finances. Engaging the executive by encouraging questions ensures they understand and feel involved in the discussion. 23. What would you do if you discovered a zero-day vulnerability in your organization's system? If I discovered a zero-day vulnerability in my organization's system, my first step would be to assess the potential impact and exploitability of the vulnerability. I would then notify the appropriate stakeholders, including the incident response team and management, to ensure they are aware of the situation. Next, I would begin working on a mitigation strategy, which could include applying temporary workarounds, disabling affected services, or enhancing monitoring for signs of exploitation. Simultaneously, I would document all findings and steps taken, and collaborate with the vendor or community for a patch or further guidance. 24. How do you prioritize security tasks when dealing with multiple threats at once? When prioritizing security tasks amid multiple threats, I assess each threat's potential impact and likelihood. I utilize a risk-based approach, categorizing threats based on severity and urgency. Critical threats that could cause significant damage or data loss receive immediate attention. I also consider compliance requirements and the organization's strategic objectives. Collaboration with key stakeholders helps ensure alignment on priorities. Regularly reviewing and updating threat intelligence enables proactive adjustments to the prioritization process, ensuring resources are allocated effectively. 25. What's the biggest cybersecurity challenge you faced, and how did you overcome it? One significant challenge I faced was a sophisticated phishing campaign targeting our organization. Employees were receiving emails that closely resembled legitimate communications. To address this, I initiated a comprehensive awareness training program, focusing on identifying phishing attempts. We implemented multi-factor authentication, MFA, to add an additional layer of security. I also collaborated with our IT team to enhance email filtering systems, significantly reducing the number of phishing emails reaching employees. This proactive approach not only mitigated the immediate threat but also fostered a culture of cybersecurity awareness within the organization. In today's rapidly evolving digital landscape, being well prepared for a cybersecurity analyst interview is essential. By familiarizing yourself with the top questions and effective answers, you can showcase your skills and knowledge to potential employers. Remember, confidence and clarity in your responses can set you apart from other candidates. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more insightful content on cybersecurity and career development. Your support helps us create more valuable resources for you. Thank you for watching.